Welcome to day 2 of the Carnivore Diet, and so far today, it's been pretty easy. I haven't eaten as much as I thought I was going to eat. I only had about 1 pound ribeye for lunch, and it's currently 6 p.m. and just not hungry. So I'll probably just only have that today, even though that's a lot lower than my typical caloric intake. But I think there's just going to be an adjustment period due to the fact that I probably should have made myself eat something around 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. But the typical feeling a lot of people associate with hunger is actually due to low blood sugar. And when you're on a keto or carnivore diet, you don't get the same... It's not the same, intensity of the feeling. So sometimes you just fast for a while. But besides that, I have been doing great. If you watch my channel at all, I've talked about how one of the things I dislike is my neck being really stiff all the time. And I don't think it's due to carnivore, but a couple of days ago, I increased my consumption of zinc gluconate and B complex before bed. And it's not bothered me in the morning. I wake up in the morning and my neck doesn't feel really crappy and stiff, and it can be due to I asked ChatGPT about it, and it was talking about how the neurotransmitters and deficiencies of certain B vitamins and also zinc can cause muscular tension and there's a little fish over there. Cause muscular tension, and for the muscle to keep itself contracted in order to, as some protective measure. But anyways, I've just been experimenting with that and seeing if the trend keeps going. So I'm just taking about 4 grams of B complex before bed and about 100 milligrams of zinc gluconate before bed. And that's been working. I think it's actually more like 150 milligrams of zinc gluconate. But that's been working well, and I plan on continuing that. Besides that, I haven't really noticed much of a difference so far for being on carnivore. I don't think... that's probably also due in part to having some glycogen storage within your muscles. And it can take a while, 1 to 2 days, for that to for your body to no longer be going through that glycogen storage. And I'll probably do a keto test tomorrow to see if I'm actually in ketosis, but feel good. See what else. I did have you have to practice a teeny bit of self-control, because I was helping my mom bring in the groceries today, and there's just watermelon. I could just smell it, and I was like, just put it on the counter, forget about it, don't think about it. And one thing I noticed is, because my family doesn't do the diet, they eat whatever they want to eat. There's fruit in my house. I try to just not to think about it or look at it, really. I'll observe that it's there, but I don't think about how much I want an apple. But if I do notice myself having those thoughts, I typically just go drink a bunch of water, and that helps, especially if I put some, I have videos on my channel about this, green tea with ginger, and I do a 4-to-1 ratio of green tea to ginger, and then I do about a handful of those leaves I use to make a gallon of tea. And then to that tea, I'll put it in glass bottles. So today, I just made 2 gallons of green tea that I'll drink throughout the week. But I put it in glass bottles at about 1/3 of a gallon a piece. And then each day, I'll just put a splash of lemon juice in that, and I'll drink it. But one thing I really enjoy, especially on carnivore, is when I'm drinking that, I will dilute it halfway so that it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a lemonade, except there's no sugar in it at all. But I really enjoy it, and I find it more than satisfies the craving for, like, I don't know, something fresh. And I'm sure if you've done carnivore in the past, or if you have survived a whole winter without eating fresh fruit, like, this is something I typically get in the winter, and I'll resort to smoothies depending on what the stores around me have and how good their produce is. But it's just craving for, like, something fresh, especially when you're eating such heavy, I don't know, I think Eastern philosophy would say that, I mean, in that philosophy, meat is very yang energy and tea is very yin energy. So by consuming green tea with while on carnivore, you kind of balance the two out. At least that's the philosophy I'm going off of, and it seems to work well. But no digestive issues, no issues sleeping. I haven't really noticed much of a difference, but I am coming from a person who, I eat a pretty heavy meat diet, but I also supplement it with, like, sweet potatoes, apples, watermelon, and fruit. So it's mostly just meat and fruit, and I get my vegetables from when I make chili, and I put just hot peppers in there. Besides that, I don't know, onions, love red onions, just love them. And sweet potatoes. I don't really go much for greens, except it's lettuce. But I mean, lettuce isn't really much of a green. It's more just basically crunchy water, compared to stuff like kale or broccoli, which, I don't know, just not really the most appealing to me. I don't dislike them or have an aversion to eating them, but I mean, I haven't eaten them in years, and I get my blood work done. I'm all healthy. And that's also something I'd recommend people, is just get your blood work done. See what it says. A lot of people have questions about it. I had questions about, I mean, I consume lots of salt. I have never met a single person that consumes more salt than myself. I literally minimum 10 to 20 grams of salt a day added to my food. And yeah, so everyone's like, oh my God, you're gonna die. You're gonna die from all that salt. And I'm like, I don't know, I just like it. And they, like, look at me like I'm really weird. I'm like, it tastes good to me like this. And they're all telling me how I'm gonna die from eating too much salt. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get my blood work done. I go get my blood work done, and the person who did my blood work says, on the spectrum of like salt, if this is low and this is for the average level, if this is low and this is high, I'm like here. So I was like below normal levels of sodium, and I'm like, no wonder my body craves it so much. I mean, I had low sodium, but I mean, that's just an example of listening to your body. It does help getting the blood work done, because it kind of silences that voice in the back of your head, or like when you're in the shower, lying in bed at night, of like, is the amount of salt I eat gonna kill me? And I'm like, no, I feel good. I get my blood work done. Last time I got it done was probably about a year ago, and it came back as just normal salt levels. So, and that was now with me just eating absolutely as much salt as I possibly wanted. So, yeah, peace out.